with her own N-word controversy about a year ago. And Mark Lamont Hill, the race-baiting activist and former cable news personality who, according to Wikipedia, currently works for Al Jazeera, not a very surprising career turn for him. With a panel like this, you are no doubt expecting a civil, polite, intellectually rigorous debate. And if you are expecting that, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, because instead, it went like this.
I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
go on
not
then,
have
say it. Say
you
the
will
M-
not have
Go on, say the M word. Go on.
No.
I'm not
No.
No.
I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me, because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here, and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
I understand you don't have any bad intent here. I understand what you're trying to do. But we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much.
So let's review what just happened. Piers Morgan tries to coax the woman Lily into saying the N-word. Mark Lamont Hill loses his mind, starts shaking uncontrollably. His camera is shaking and screaming that if she says it, she'll cause him harm. But in the process of screaming about how she can't say the word, he himself says the word. It's bleeped out, so you may have missed it, but Mark screams that he's the only N-word on the panel. And then to cap things off, he calls the other black panelist, Myron, and Uncle Tom, which is also a racial slur. So
which he is.
He's
not a racial
Mark
slur.
said 2 racial slurs while shrieking about how he doesn't want to hear any racial slurs.
First of all, black people can say anything they want when it comes to themselves. If they want to use the word, they have a right to do that. Second of all, Uncle Tom is not, a white man doesn't get to tell you what a racial slur is and when to say nigger and when not to say it and when to say Uncle Tom. A white person doesn't have any moral authority, any moral, there's no moral code that they have after what they've done and what they're doing to dictate to you any fucking thing whatsoever. So if you want to say nigger, you can say, and you black, you can say it, right? If you want to call a Somalian tether immigrant Uncle Tom, then you can do it. It's not a racial slur. Do you not know what Uncle Tom means, sir? See, they wanna control the narrative. I'm gonna let this play though.
So it's like if you were eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then someone starts freaking out because they have a peanut allergy, and while they're yelling at you to stop eating your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they're just popping fistfuls of honey roasted peanuts into their mouth. I mean, all right.
So let me stop that right there for a second. So I'm gonna play some more about it from this guy Matt Walsh, right? This racial, this white racist this white racist suspect, right? We'll say suspect. We won't say he a racist. As Nearly Fuller said, we'll call him a suspect. And then I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I just want to show you the type of shit that they're doing. So let's play a little bit more. So let's take a look at this Rodney Hinton thing, and I'm gonna talk about this.
And excusing criminality have led us to a point where people who commit blatant first-degree murder are celebrated. Around 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, a man named Rodney...
Nobody excuses criminality more than white people, but let's move on. Like, they only talk about criminal activity in the United States, right? I just want to make this point. They don't talk about, for instance, the genocide of Indians. That doesn't count. The genocide of 100 million blacks, that doesn't count, right? In America. None of that counts. They say, well, that's in the past. Stop bringing up the past, right? Jim Crow up until 1965, 70 in this country, that doesn't count. Nothing that they do counts as a crime. You go into Afghanistan, kill tens of thousands of people for no reason. You go into Iraq, kill 1 million people. That doesn't count as crime for white people in their government. But if a black person does something, then you justify criminality. And now that counts as crime. But anything they do, it doesn't count as crime.
Rodney Hinton went to his lawyer's office in Ohio and watched body camera footage of his son's death. And in particular, The footage shows Hinton's 18-year-old son Ryan emerging from a stolen vehicle while carrying a handgun. At one point, Ryan drops the gun and then picks it up. Soon afterward, he's shot and killed by a police officer. None of these facts are in dispute. The video makes it all very clear. Watch.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Bryce Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Fuji explains what happened next.
All four individuals get out and start running,
On your right! On your right!
some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has a firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
Now, the reason the Hinton family was watching this footage in an attorney's office is that, of course, they were contemplating a lawsuit against the city for wrongful death. That was certainly what their attorney was thinking about. In fact, even after viewing this footage, the family's lawyer, who incidentally works for the Cochran firm, as in the late Johnny Cochran's firm, maintained that they had a case. And here's what the family's lawyer said as a way of arguing that the police officers were somehow responsible in this scenario. Quote, being in a stolen car, having a firearm, firearms, we're in Ohio, you know, so you can open carry in Ohio.
That's true, right? They always talk about Second Amendment, right? But if somebody has a firearm and you black, they just shoot you.
That's not a death penalty.
It's not.
Now, admittedly, it's not quite as catchy as if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, but it's still a pretty remarkable line of argument from the Cochran
Now he's saying OJ was guilty, so he slides that in.
firm, all things considered. After watching the footage of Ryan Hinton exiting a stolen car with a handgun, then dropping the handgun and picking it up as police chased him, and then turning towards the officers, the conclusion from these lawyers is that Hinton was murdered simply for open carry.
He never turned toward he was running, trying to get away. He didn't even know where the fuck the officers were at. He was just running frantically, right? Trying to get away. He wasn't running toward the officers to shoot them. He was running away from the officers. They ran toward him to apprehend him, right? He was trying to get away from them. And he wasn't shooting. He was just holding a gun, running, maybe trying to discard the gun or whatever, so he wouldn't get in trouble for the gun and get away from the car and then maybe try to throw the gun, something like that. And they killed him because they saw the gun. They said, well, fuck it. We know if he has a gun, we can kill him, under the law, right? We can engage and kill him just for having a gun and say we fear for our life. And legally, right? Just like the Nazis. Everything the Nazis did was legal. Right? They tell you, I'm just doing my job. Everything the Nazis did was legal. It's the same with these people.
Carrying a firearm. He got the death penalty for doing nothing wrong whatsoever.
All right.
I'm going to stop that right there. All right, so let's talk about it, right? So let's just go in on this. Now, Matt Walsh is the typical, he's a typical character in America, right? The typical Caucasoid character, right? And has that typical mentality. You see what I'm saying? First let's start with Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill was way too emotional when he responded to them. But his point, I get his point, right? And one, you gotta understand, most white people, even liberals or conservative, whatever they want to label themselves, are not really on your side. They're not on your side. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what happens, right? Malcolm X talked about that. Never trust white liberals, right? And it's true, right? So Mark Lamont Hill was way too emotional. But I get the point. But the white man, Matt Walsh, act like he don't get the point, right? What he said was, you would never, don't encourage this white woman to start saying niggers on your because you wouldn't do that to white Jewish people. You wouldn't have them come here and then have her say that and basically call them, whatever derogatory term you would call a white Jewish person. I think it's kike or something like that, right? Whatever that means. It's like cracker. It's really like a bullshit term, but it's not really, it's not like calling them nigger, which means a subhuman animal, less than human. That's what, when they say the slur nigger, that's what they mean. And so he was saying, don't encourage her to basically call me a nigger on your show, right? Because you wouldn't do that to white Jewish people, right? So don't encourage her to do that in front of me and to me. Matt Walsh acted like he couldn't understand that. And mainly, I guess, because Mark Lamont Hill got kind of emotional and was charged or whatever. And was like, nah, don't do that. And I agree with him at a certain level. But no, I disagree at another level. Like, let her do it, right? Let her do it. I would have let her do it, and then I would have said what I said calmly, more calmly. Like, you shouldn't have let her do that. And you encourage her to do that to kind of like call me a nigger on your show. And you wouldn't have, I would have let her do it, and then I would have brought out what I was going to say. Not get all emotional and stop her from doing it. Let her do it. Let her commit to that, calling me a nigger on the show, right? And you let her do it. You encourage her to do it. Let her do it. And then I would have said, would you done that if I was a white Jewish person? No, you wouldn't have. Right? For rating, trying to get your ratings up. And then Myron Gaines is a total, this dude, I don't even have word. I don't know. I could start insulting Myron Gaines, but he's a total just tether scumbag. And he is an Uncle Tom. And so then Matt Walsh goes on to say, you can't call him an Uncle Tom is the derogatory term. It's not. Why? Because you said so, white man? The white man said it's a racially derogatory. No, it's not. You're not black. So stop trying to tell black people how things work in their own culture. Black people don't consider Uncle Tom a racially derogatory term, motherfucker. Just FYI. Right? What we consider, when black people call somebody Uncle Tom, I don't know why you need a lesson in this. We're calling them a sellout. We're saying that they are a racial sellout. But when white people say what they're trying to do is they want to protect their racial sellouts, so they say Uncle Tom is a racially derogatory term. Get it? It's not. Right? We don't consider it racially derogatory. Black people, it's a term black people use to describe sellouts. Regardless, everybody know where Uncle Tom comes from. We all know, the etymology of the word. We all know who was the actual Uncle Tom, et cetera, right? That's not the point. Just like nigger. Nigger has a couple different connotations, right? And so, but when black people say Uncle Tom, we know what we mean. We don't need a white man like Matt Walsh or Piers Morgan or somebody telling us what they think is 2025. They can tell us what a word means, and it goes, no, that's for your audience. You tell your audience, this is like racist Nazi propaganda that you spew to your people. But you ain't fucking talking to me. I know what Uncle Tom means. I don't need a white man to tell me. Right? He gonna tell me how black people use the word Uncle Tom, the term Uncle Tom. And it's racially derogatory. He was describing Myron Gaines, an immigrant from Somalia who likes to berate black Americans, is a tether and an Uncle Tom. Yes, he is, sir. That's what we would say about him. You could say anything you want, white man, right? Just like you could say white Jesus is God. I don't give, that's some shit y'all made up for you and your people. Okay, fine. Our culture's not the same, right? American descendant of slave culture and white Nazi fascist culture is not the same thing. We both live in America, and we both Americans, but we not the same. Right? Just like a white German and a white Frenchman is not the same. It's not that complicated. And it's okay to be an individual because the Bible teaches that, right? It says, be ye separate. You have to separate yourself from some people. You can't, we're not all the same, even though we live in a place. So anyway, and so let's move on to the other video he was talking, what else he was talking about? This whole Hinton situation. Let's talk about that for a second. So Matthew Hinton, right? It is what it is. Like he said that basically black people condone criminality, right? This is what all white people say in America, right? Black people can, if you say, yo, listen, I disagree with you, right? Like, I disagree with the killing of this guy. They'll say, they won't say that objectively, well, let's look at it. They're going to try to protect their interests, which is white, racist, Nazi, American culture. They're going to try to protect their interests, right? And say, black people, you Negroes are protecting criminality, right? Which is kind of like saying you Negroes are a bunch of criminals. Nobody is a bigger criminal than a white man. Let me say that again. Nobody is a bigger criminal than the white man. Let's be clear. But what they do is they got better propaganda, so they try to project that on the black people. Right? And they'll say, well, there's a lot of shootings going around here, here, whatever. What about Iraq? Was there a lot of shootings in Iraq where y'all killed 1 million people? Black people responsible for that too? Or y'all just, the citizenry and by extension, their government don't have nothing to do with that. Like these people, there are no connections when it comes to these people. Nothing is connected. It's all just standalone, a la carte in the world. But when it comes to you, it's everything connected. With them, right, with you, you're a criminal, right? You condone criminality. But with them, they can go into a country, condone it, support it, fund it, work at the company, work at, Lockheed Martin, whatever, vote for it, right? Get a flag, right? Or say all kinds of shit on social media. They go kill 1 million people in Iraq. But then they'll tell, 1 million people, when the last time Negroes killed 1 million people in America? Then they'll tell you they under attack by black people in America. But they attacked the whole country and killed 1 million people. What? You under attack by black people in America? Are you kidding me? They killed like 250,000 people in Syria and counting. Funding terrorists, funding Al-Qaeda. They installed the head of Al-Qaeda in Syria as the president of Syria right now. They did that. White people. Killed like 250,000, caused the deaths of 250,000 people. But they tell you black people are the criminals in America causing shootings. What about that? Black people caused all that death and destruction too? Oh, that don't count because it's in Syria. But y'all behind it. And you funding it. It's your weapons, your terrorists, your government. You got pictures on the wall, flags. But y'all have nothing to do with it. That's not criminality. Only criminal is Rodney Hinton and his son. That white people are innocent. They say, well, we had nothing to do with slavery. We had nothing to do with Jim Crow. We had nothing to do with anything. We just here. We just existing. There are no connections. What about your grandparents? What about, that shit couldn't exist unless people were voting for it. Whether you own the slaves or not. Y'all voted for the laws, right? Your grandparents voted for Jim Crow, wanted to support all that. You know what I mean? Like all of the, all the disenfranchisement, all the shit they've been involved in as a culture. It's part of the wickedness is part of white culture. They'll tell you there's no connection. We're not connected to that. People like Matt Walsh, he'll say, we're innocent. These white people, these black, these niggers, right? They're the real criminals. Right? This man's son was a criminal. This man is a criminal. We are doing the work of white Jesus. We're doing the work of Jesus. We're not doing anything wrong. We never have. We never will. All right, man. I mean, that's why you can't take them serious. Like, I don't even take them serious. I don't take white people seriously. You know what I mean? Like, people like Matt Walsh, I just use him as an example, right? But you can't take him seriously because he's just doing racist propaganda. He's a Nazi doing Nazi propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not nobody that you would debate seriously and argue with. And if he goes and debates somebody, he's going to go get somebody that doesn't really know what they're talking about. Or somebody like Mark Lamont Hill, who's going to get overly emotional at a certain point. You know what I mean? And so, but what Rodney Hinton showed y'all is that the time for debate is over with. You see what I'm saying? Like, Rodney Hinton, his father, what he realized was that you can't sit around and debate all the time with people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You did what you did, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And we just deal with it like that. You know what I mean? I ain't having no debate. I ain't pulling out my camera phone, right? And start recording. Oh my God. Oh my God. You call like the girl she called the kid a nigger. They said, it's just a word. It's just a word. That's cool. It's just a word. But listen, if you would call my grandson or my son, I have a son, 5 years old, who got autism or some mental illness, mental deficiency, and he does something inappropriate, and you start calling him, you dirty little nigger, you get the fuck out of here, you little nigger, or whatever. Listen, the only thing I would do with this phone is slap the fuck out of you. I would slap your wig backwards. That's it. I wouldn't be recording or none of that, right? I would slap your fucking wig backwards. If some chick did that, some white woman, some Asian, some Mexican woman, whatever, Indian, that'd be the end of the story. You know what I mean? Like, I'd let you do it. And then I'd slap the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, so sometimes there ain't no time to be recording or debate. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, that time is past, really, with people. Because they say, well, word is just a word, right? You people are really the criminals and all that kind of shit. So you see, like, Rodney Hinton, he was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm going to just get with you. I'm going to get with somebody, right? That's his prerogative, right? I don't condone it, but I understand why he did it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like if somebody would have slapped the shit out of that chick for, calling this little black kid a bunch of niggers in the playground, you know what I mean, who has a mental, issue. If they would have slapped the shit out of her, I'd be like, hey, it is what it is. I would have done it. I probably would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, you would have verbally just insulted my 5-year-old grandson or son, right? Right? Your light, I would have put your lights out. You know what I mean? Kapow! I'd smack the shit out of you. You know what I mean? I ain't pulling out no cell phone. I ain't talking to you or none of that shit. You know what I mean? That's just, you know what I mean? I think that time has passed. And a lot of people then got to that point. As you can see with Matt Walsh, these people are not just Matt Walsh. You look at what happened. I mean, it all connects. If you look at Matt Walsh, you look at Iraq, you look at Jim Crow, you look at slavery, you look at Libya, where they got a black president to destroy an African country. Uncle Tom. Oh, don't use you're using a slur, racial slur against one. Oh, you mean because I'm pointing out the fact that one of your puppets, one of your Muppets, right? You got a black man to destroy a black country, basically in Africa, to cover up for your racism and your Nazism. And if I call him Uncle Tom, and you say, hey, don't do that, you're just trying to protect him. So these people play a lot of fucked up games. And you gotta stop playing games with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one thing I respect the dude, he was willing to, get down for the get down. The Hinton, Rodney Hinton. He was willing to get down. It's like, listen, you do a certain thing, you cross a line, then it's all bets off. Right? It's all bets is off. And I think that's what people have to experience sometimes. You know what I mean? They gotta, sometimes people learn the hard way. Like a chick walk up and call my grandson or my son, my little son, a bunch of niggers and all this kind of shit. You little fucking nigga, whatever. When she look up, that's all it's gonna be. End the story. Come on, shorty, let's go. Now record that. I see you when I see you, right? And whoever want to get with me, get with me. You know what I mean? We deal with it like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of way you gotta be. And I think that's the way shit is going anyway, right? Where you realize the people you dealing with are bad actors. You know what I'm saying? Like the Americans trying to negotiate peace in Palestine. Like, that's insane. If you know anything about them in that whole situation. It's laughable. Matt Walsh and these people trying to talk sense into them, trying to talk sensibly to some people. It's laughable. These people ain't got a soul in my cases, right? They ain't even got souls, which is a whole nother video. You see what I'm saying? So, and I just think we get into a time where, as you can see, where you really, people don't really want to, they realize, and you know who said this? James Baldwin. He said, it's going to come to a time in America, black people not going to want to listen to Martin Luther King no more. Black people not going to want to listen to Martin Luther King. Black people not going to want to listen to no civil rights and none of that bullshit. That time is now, as you can see with Rodney Hinton. And so, well, it is what it is, man. I'm going to leave it there. That's all I got.